Hello, my name is Ari Waldman. I'm a person who stutters. Today is Thursday, October 1st, 2020, the 13th day of the Jewish month of Tishrei. It's my video Tanya YouTube recording day 3, daily study from Chabad.org, daily Tanya, Iggeret hakodesh, beginning of epistle 21, Thursday, 13th of Tishre, 5781, October 1st, 2020. Iggeret hakodesh, beginning of epistle 21. Acharei drishat shlomam kimishpat lo ohavei shemo. Having first duly inquired after the welfare of those who love God's name, this pastoral letter was written by the Alter Rebbe to rouse those of his followers who had pledged an annual contribution to Cholel Chabad. This fine supported their fellow Hasidim who had settled in the land of Israel, where they now studied Torah and engaged in divine service. The Alter Rebbe here urges that instead of waiting until the end of the year, his followers give part of the promised sum weekly or at least monthly. For apart from the quality of alacrity, the eager promptness that ought to be displayed during the performance of mitzvot in general, and the mitzvah of tzedakah, charity in particular, there is an additional quality involved, as will soon be explained. The Alter Rebbe begins this epistle by greeting his fellow Jews as lovers of God's name. This appellation especially suits those helping their brethren who serve God in the Holy Land. For upon this land, God's gaze is fixed constantly. And this verse uses God's ineffable name, Havaya, indicating that the land is directly illuminated and animated by the sublime level of divinity, indicated by that singular and unique name. Ve'el ha-mitnadvim ba'am la'asot tzdakat Hashem im artso hakedusha. Those among the people who willingly volunteered to practice the righteous charitability of God towards His Holy Land. Letate midai shana b'shana chazak ve'haktzov meot artseinu hakdusha tivne v'tikonim v'mehera v'yameinu. By giving every year a set sum of money for the inhabitants of our Holy Land, may it be rebuilt and established speedily in our days. Alehem ti tov, milti v'tazel batel amarti. May my word call to them and my speech trickle like dew. Lizeres lizraim. Lizrizim. Lizeres lizrizim. In order to bestir those who are naturally swift, for one hurries only the swift. V'lechazak yadayim rafot. And to strengthen weak hands, for their unquestioned willingness is hampered only by their poverty. B'matan damim meod Eretz Yisrael, midei Shabbat v'Shabbato lefachot midei chodesh b'chodesh me'arachom haktzov le'erech shana, so that they should contribute monies for the land of Israel every week, or at least every month, from the amount assigned for the year proportionately. V'chol kesef hakodoshim asher Allah alev ish lit nadev v'li neder lefarnasat achenu yoshvei artzenu hakadusha midei shana b'shana, as well as all the dedicated money that each individual was inspired to donate annually without a vow, for the support of our brethren who live in the Holy Land. It would seem that in these last 4 lines, the Alter Rebbe means to add the following: not only are the amounts that were always given in previous years to be given henceforth on a weekly or monthly basis, but the additional amounts are to be divided likewise. Ki hine milvad yadua l'chol godel ma'alat hazrizut b'chol hamitzvah hanemar vin nishana vin dibore razal le'olam yakdim adam ledaber mitzvah kule. For first of all, everyone knows the great virtue of alacrity with respect to all commandments, which is spoken of repeatedly in the words of our sages of blessed memory. For example, at all times should one be prompt in fulfilling a commandment. O teha, the Avram Avinu, Elav Hashalom Hi Haomedet La'ad Lanu V'Lavanenu Ad Olam. So too, it is the merit of the eager promise of our father Abraham, peace upon him, who hastened to the Akedah, the binding of Isaac, that stands by us and our children forever. Ki ha'akedah atzma eina nechshava kol kach lin nision gadol le'erech malat Abraham Avinu alav hashalom. The Akedah itself, which God constantly recalls, it is not really regarded as so great a test in relation to the stature of Father Abraham, peace upon him. Bishgam ki Hashem diber bo kach na et bincha kule, especially considering that God himself said to him, please take your son and bring him as an offering. V'harei kama v'kama kadoshim shemasru v'nafsham akadushat Hashem gam ki lo diber Hashem bo. Bam. After all, there have been numerous saintly individuals who gained their lives for the sanctification of God, even though he did not speak to them. How then can this be considered such a great test for Abraham, when God himself commanded him to offer his son? Rak she'Avraham Avinu alav hashalom asa zot b'zrizut nifla. The point is that our father Abraham, peace upon him, did this with wondrous alacrity, for as the verse testifies, Abraham rose very early and himself saddled his donkey, leharot simchato v'chavtzo l'malot ratzon Konu Lasot Nachat Ruach Liyotzra. In order to demonstrate to others as well his joy and eager to desire to fulfill the will of his master and to bring just of gratification to his maker. The previous Lubavitcher Rebbe, Rabbi Yosef Yitzhak Schneerson of blessed memory, explains a discourse dated the 12th of Tammuz 5709 that the divine service of penitence should involve affecting others as well. Now the challenge of the Akedah required that Abraham, the epitome of love and kindness, reverse his essential nature in which the attribute of chesed predominated and act with the severity of the attribute of gevura. Hence God avers, I now know that you fear God. In this diametrical reversal, Abraham resembled a penitent. And like a penitent, he sought to share with others his delight at fulfilling God's will. Umimenu lamdo razal l'kiyum kol ha-mitzvah bichlal v'parat ma'aseh hatzdaka ha'ola al kulana. Indeed, it was from the example of Abraham, and with the power that he vested within all his descendants, that all sages of blessed memory learned that alacrity is required in the fulfillment of all the commandments in general, and in particular with respect to the act of charity, which is superior to them all. Magina veha matzala befeiroteha ba'olam hazeh mikol mine pero aniot hamit rakshot, in that it protects and saves one by its fruits that are repaid in this world from all kinds of calamities that may come about. Kidichti v'tzedakah tatzil mimavet v'chol shekin meishar mine yisorim hakeli mimavet, as it is written, and tzedakah saves from death, and how much more so from other kinds of suffering that are milder than death. Ki shachin shetov lanu gam ba'olam hazeh lehakdama kol ma de'efshar. It is thus certainly to our benefit, even this world, to be as expeditious as possible in giving of charity, even more so than in fulfillment of commandments, whose reward may not be as palpable in this world. Shahari Adam Nidon B'chol Yom, for after all, a man is judged every day, so that it is quite possible that he is in need of the merit of today's tzedakah to protect him from today's judgment. This is the end of today's Tanya reading. Goodbye, have a great day.